If you've been following my channel for a while now, you would know that this year I built my absolute favorite commander, which also happens to be my most powerful commander. Amalia is a 2-cost Orzhov legend, which has the explore mechanic, which she abuses in so many different ways. I've been playing this deck for a while now, and she's so fun, she's so interesting, and today I wanted to revisit my deck and share the changes I've made in the last 6 months now that I've really refined this deck. Like always, I gotta remind you that I'm a Palms Off Gaming affiliate now. You can use my link in the description for 10% off. And if you want to join my Discord to talk about TCGs, if you want to play Spell Table, if you want to play Riftbound, then join my Discord, link in the description. Now, I first encountered Amalia when I was building an old standard list, and since then I've been absolutely obsessed with her. She was so powerful when she came out that she was even banned in Pioneer. And I tried talking to someone who plays Pioneer to ask why she got banned, but no one plays Pioneer, so couldn't get an answer. Having the ability to basically draw all the lands into your hand and filter your entire library into your graveyard is so powerful, and this deck is so resilient and so fun. So let me show you my updated deck list for Amalia. All right, welcome back to talking about my favorite commander of all time, and what really kicked off this channel was Amalia. To basically go over what Amalia does again, she's a 2-cost legend, ward, pay 3 life. Whenever you gain life, Amalia explores, then destroy all other creatures if her power is exactly 20. To have this creature explore, reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land, otherwise put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, then you may put that card back onto the top or into your graveyard. This deck is almost never going to put things on top. We want to go through our deck as fast as possible and fill a graveyard as fast as possible. So let me show you how it works. Basically, the first thing is Amalia wants to gain life. Basically, all these cards want us to gain life. So a lot of them are ETB stuff, like whenever a creature enters, you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature enters, you gain 1 life. Creature dies, you gain 1 life, and so on. So cast a spell, gain a life, ETB, 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 cast a spell, and basically every single one of these cards cares about gaining life. Any little pingers, any little 1 life, and the best part about this is we want to gain a lot of instances of 1 life. So the best effects in this deck are stuff like Soul Warden, which says whenever a creature enters the battlefield from anywhere, whenever a creature, so opponents to, you gain 1 life. Basically, if you have effects, multiple effects like this, like Authority of the Console basically does the exact same thing, only it's only your opponent's creatures. Case of the Uneaten Feast does the same thing again, however, it's creatures that you control. You play 1 creature, you might be gaining 3-4 instances of 1 life, and that's 3 or 4 Amalia triggers, which is really, really cool. So we have so many, and we also have Aether Fox Reservoir because we're gaining life, and this is a great life gain deck. So that has just been so fun, so good. Now, if we're gaining life, how do your opponents lose life? Well, these are all the cards that care about that. So stuff like Sanguine Bond says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Explosive Blood, that's obviously the very basic combo. Bloodthirsty Conqueror, same thing. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life, and so on. So we've got a lot of these effects. There's so much of these effects. We've also got some little pingers. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. So there are a lot of ways of finding these combos where you can just infinitely gain life and drain people at the table. As I said in my last video, Amalia is a bracket 4 deck. So we're playing fast, we're playing with combos, and we want to win. Now, if we're going to fill our bin as fast as possible, this is how we're going to capitalize on it. So we've got a giant suite of cards which only care about reanimation. So we've got a lot of mass reanimation like Living Death, and then we have more targeted stuff like Victimize. And all these cards, all they want to do is bring stuff back from your graveyard. This one is probably the best in the deck in my opinion. Command the Dreadhorde is a really underrated card which came out in Brothers War, I believe. It says choose any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers in all graveyards. So not just mine, all graveyards. Command the Dreadhorde deals damage equal to the total converted mana cost of all those cards. Put them onto the battlefield under your control. So we're a life gain deck. We're gaining a shit ton of life. Basically, all these creatures are going to enter, and theoretically, if we have the life gain creatures in our deck, we're going to be netting positive life after casting a spell like this. And honestly, this is just like an instant game win for us. Race the Past, another really good one, which is standard legal. Sevene's Reclamation, really, really cool. Mortal Servitude, Ascent for Avernus, and Agadeem's Awakening. All these cards care about reanimating things and bringing stuff back from the graveyard, which makes our deck very, very resilient. unless someone Bojuka bogs you. We've also got your basic removal and protection, stuff like that. There's nothing too special, you know, Swords, Plowshare, Kai's Ghost Form, and all the lot. Nothing too crazy in here. Ad Nauseam is very good in this deck, as we like to use life as a resource. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. We've got Enlightened Shooter in here as well. This card is great at helping us find Bolas Citadel, which is just a great card, which will instantly win us the game. Finally, these are our honorable mentions. So these cards are just synergistic in other ways, which are really, really cool. And I've got to show you some of these ones. Tombstone Stairwell. This is one of my favorite cards of all time. I've made so many videos on it. But basically, to simplify it, this card says that anytime you move to someone's upkeep, every player makes 2/2 zombies based on how many creatures they have in their graveyard, and then they all get sacrificed at the end step, and that happens every turn. So if we have something like Soul Warden up, and I've got 5 creatures in my graveyard, I move to someone's upkeep, make 5 creatures, I get 5 Amalia triggers, I fill the graveyard even more, and then they all die. So if you've got something like the Blood Artist, then you can ping everyone at the table, and it's really, really great, really awesome card, and it's actually very expensive now thanks to Sephiroth. So shout out Tombstone Stairwell, coolest card ever. Bolas Citadel is amazing in this deck because obviously we're happy to pay life to cast things. This is a really underrated card which I like in this deck. Argivian's Find, Argivian, whatever, this one. Basically, it's an instant that allows you to return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. This means that when you do have Amalia triggers, if you do hit a Bolas Citadel or Tombstone Stairwell or something that you really want, instead of stopping your Explore triggers to keep it on the top, basically just send it into the graveyard, have this into your hand, cast it, and then bring it back and, you know, cast the Bolas Citadel or whatever on a later turn. Lotus Petal, this allows you to get your commander out on turn 1. Tandem Strike is really cool because your commander gets really, really big and no one ever expects Tandem Strike. So this is a really cool card. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains Infect until end of turn. Vanewitch Coven basically says whenever I gain life, I can pay 1 black, and if I do, I can return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand. So if I want to get a combo piece while I'm exploring and don't want to stop, this is a great way to do that. Abyssal Harvester allows you to make a copy of something from your graveyard. Lotho is just a great treasure maker. Avenger of the Fallen is a really, really cool card that came out in Tarkia. Basically, Mobilized is a mechanic that allows you to create tapped and attacking tokens that get sacrificed on your end step. However, in this case, Mobilized is equal to the amount of creatures in your graveyard, which is really, really cool because we're always going to have creatures in our graveyard. Sun Titan's just a great reanimator, and to be honest, I just love this art variant. I found it at Supernova, and it's just very, very cool, so I wanted it in the deck. Ranger Captain of Eos makes us find our best 1-drops like Soul Warden. Lurking Chupacabra is a really, really cool card in this deck, which basically says whenever a creature you control explores, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. We're exploring so much, and this thing just nukes the board, and no one has ever seen this card before, so very, very cool. Vamp Shooter and Sarah's Ascendant, which is just a really OP card. Other than that, our mana base is pretty tame, pretty normal. One thing I have about this deck is because we play a lot of really, really cheap 1-drops and 2-drops, I don't really want to play almost any cards that come in tapped unless they have an effect like this one, which says when this land enters you, gain 1 life. Because I really do want to get my commander out on turn 2. Oh, there's a Anguish I'm making in here, but yeah, more removal. Because I really, really do want to get my commander out on turn 2. I really don't want to play any tap lands unless they have a very, very big benefit. And yeah, so the land base is really cheap. And yeah, that's Amalia again. I've had so much success with this deck, and I honestly win so many games with it. It is so resilient. It breaks the rules of Commander. It's so much fun to play, and she's just awesome. She's so much fun and so underrated, and I love this card so much. Now that you've seen the deck list, I wanted to go over some of the stats about this deck, which makes it different from all my other commanders. Firstly, this deck only has 32 lands, I think 33 if you count the MDFC, but that's a very low amount for a commander deck, especially something that doesn't have absolutely any ramp at all. And speaking of ramp, this deck also has 0 mana rocks. No Soul Ring, no Arcane Signet. I think Lotus Petal is really the only one in there, but that doesn't really act as ramp, as it's more acceleration. On top of that, there's no Dark Ritual or any way to really accelerate mana besides the Lotus Petal, and it's just got creatures and recursion. Amalia's ability to explore really does it all for us. never missing a land drop, filling your graveyard at all times, and it's so resilient. I really think Amalia is perfect for all brackets from 2 to 4, as you can build her on a budget, you can build her high powered like I did, and she's just so synergistic. I don't really think she's great in bracket 1 for obvious reasons, and bracket 5 she's missing the most important colors I think in Commander, which is green and blue, and that's just my opinion, and if you disagree with me you're wrong, but that's why I don't really think she can exist in 1 or 5, but from 2 to 4 she's extremely good. And yeah, that's Amalia. She's easily my favorite commander. I say this all the time. I love her so much. It's such a cool card. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Please check out my other video I did on Amalia where I showed my initial deck list and I went to Japan to buy my final card and I went to Haruya and all that stuff. It's really cool. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.